the mistakes that I've made and what I think will really help new players when they first get into the game. Some of the nuances of this 2D game are a little bit strange compared to some other games, and you can tell it works all on a tile, basically a tile, I don't know, tile process, tile feature, whatever. Okay, so what do we want to talk about? Let's talk about first the HUD. This is the HUD when you first log in. Basically, all your user interface features. You can see that this is a brand new character. His name is Paxton. He's a new alt for my main character Calaway, and you can tell he's new because up here he has 23 hours and 42 minutes left of his newbie buffs. So when you first log into the game, you get a newbie health, so you get increased healing during the first 24 hours, and this is 24 real life hours, not in-game hours, I think. So you also get newbie aggro range, so that means the creatures have to be a lot closer to you to aggro on you. So we're not too worried about that alligator over there. Actually, he's a crocodile, not an alligator. And you also get newbie food, so decreased food needs and drink needs for 24 hours. So that's pretty important, and it's a good idea to try to take advantage of that. Get as much of your stuff done as you can within the first 24 hours. Alright, so we'll just take a look around the area real quick. I decided that we're going to do our tutorial in this sort of square area going east of this road and basically south of the lake. So south and east of the lake is where we're going to sort of build our little settlement and do our little tutorial videos. Right, that's what we're going to do. So this is the lake, pretty nice little lake. There was some developments on the other side, and the reason that we're actually going to build right in here is because my main settlement, Calaway Basin, is actually going to be filling in this whole area on this side over here. You can barely see, right there is where I started building the house. So anyway, yeah, so you can see Calaway's house is starting to be built over there. That's the first building that I'll have on that settlement. The lake is pretty nice. We have a mountain over there. There's actually a mountain straight behind us to the south, and then this mountain over here, which is to the east. So we're kind of in like a horseshoe valley, completely surrounded by mountains, so that's pretty nice. The ocean access is right out front here, and this lake is pretty good size, so we'll have enough water. And there's also an inlet on the other side over here. So no development in this valley other than just at the tree line on the other side of the lake. There is a building up there, a couple buildings, but nothing seems to be deeded, and it all seems to be decaying. So I don't know if anybody's actively pursuing that area or not, but we'll see. So yeah, so this is our settlement, or where we're going to basically make our tutorials and make some kind of settlement. You can see it's pretty steep up there, so that'll give us a good chance to work on a lot of different skills. Alright, so as far as the HUD goes, you have your menu bar up here. So you have the basically your options menu, console menu, skills menu. Click on that, it brings up your skills. You get all kinds of different skill sets. This is a huge open world survival type game, sandboxy game. You get a lot of different skills you can build up, and even more skills within certain skills. So you have swords, knives, axes, like your typical fighting type weapons, although this is a PvE server, so the only thing you're going to be fighting would be the mobs. Under mauls, like for example, you have 3 different kinds. Under axes, you have 4 different kinds. These are all things you would have to make or buy if you wanted. So your first skill, carpentry. Even with under carpentry, you have individual skills like bowery, fletching, fine carpentry, and also toy making and shipbuilding. Same thing with tailoring. You have cloth tailoring and leatherworking, masonry, stone cutting, and all the way down. All kinds of different stuff. Cooking things, different kinds of smithing, weaponsmithing, armorsmithing, blacksmithing, etc. And all the way down. So all kinds of different skills you can work on. You also have religion, and you have your main characteristic skills. So body, you have body strength, stamina, and control. Body control, you need to ride different mounts. Body strength you want for climbing skills, loading skills, things like that, but we'll get into them when we get there. Mind characteristics, the biggest one here to start off with is mind logic. Once you get to 20.10, you'll be able to ride and command a large cart. So that's a good skill to get up as quick as possible as well. As far as that goes, body control, if you want to ride a horse, you have to have body control of 21, I think, body control. Let me check that real quick because I don't remember. Yeah, I think so. Body control of 21. It seems like it's not very hard to get to because you're at 19.5 to start off with, but it does take a long time. Those are hard skills to get. Or they're not hard to get, they just take a long time to skill up. Alright, so those are skills. And then you have your inventory window. And these are all the things in your inventory. As a new player, you get, I'm going to alphabetize them. So you get your backpack. You can go ahead and equip that if you want. Throw it on your back, so now it's up there. You got your compass, which is right here. A deed stake, which you will use to create a actual settlement when you're ready to do that. Your hand mirror, which you can do character, basically create your character's look. So right now, if we click on character, let's just see. Guess we can't do it like that. This is what our character looks like. Basically plain old looking again. Not necessarily bad, actually. So I might just go ahead and stay with that. But if you go with that, you can choose all your character's features that you want to have. You cannot change male or female. So you cannot change the sex of the character. You have to have picked that during your registration process. So anyway, can't change that. You also get a whole set of beginning leather armor, along with a hatchet, a carving knife, your longsword to attack mobs, pickaxe, rake, saw. You have a rope that you can capture animals with. You know, cows, horses, those kind of things. Pigs. You have a shield. You have a shovel. Flint and steel to start your campfires and stuff. You have a beginning tent. And you also have a tool belt. And we'll go ahead and equip that real quick. And then I'll pull this tool belt up. Start off with, you get a 2-slot tool belt. And we'll explain that in just a minute. And the tent is an important feature because that will give you a spawn point in case you die in any time in the game in the beginning, until you build your own deed and you have your own token, and we will get into that when we have time to do that. Alright, so that's your inventory. What else do we have up here? You have stats, so it tells you basically game time. Time in game 27 minutes, only launched one time so far. Client crashes, right click menus, actions performed, and then also player. Distance moved, I've moved a whole 0.14 kilometers since I signed into the game. And frames per second are working right at 60, which is pretty nice. Sleep, time. If you click on time, it tells you down here at the bottom. It is 10:05 and 43 seconds on the day of Tears in week 2 of the Starfall of Omens in the year of 1060. So that's your time. Mission bar. Actually, mission, nothing came up, but there's a mission progress thing that basically we'll get. I guess we'll get into that when it's a little more important. That's combat. Again, here's our character screen. These are all your character slots. Some important things to know about your character screen, other than your typical slots, which are just about like any other game. Is if you click this button here, it will switch between your body and then your actual character look. The body is nice because this will show you when you get wounds, and when we get some, I will explain that a little more in depth, but you want to definitely keep that. Up here, if you hover over this top thing, is your weight. So our inventory weight is 20.3, our total weight is 23.3, and it tells you if you want to move at 100% speed, you can have less than 38 kilograms. You can move. The max weight we can have is all the way up to 136.5, but then we'll be able to basically not move. So yeah, you definitely want to keep your weight below the 38 limit, and that will of course increase as your body strength increases as well. So that's that. And then down here at the bottom, you have your hand. And this, if you activate your hand, is things that you need to do with just your hands, like mold clay or something like that. Then you need a hand activated. Excuse me. And then this button over here is your body. If you right click on the body, it will give you some stuff. If you click on karma, it will tell you how much karma you have. And when you have a certain amount of karma, you can actually do these different features. Light up 50 tile radius, light up 100 tile radius, light up 200 tile radius, and summon corpse. So if you die somewhere far away from where you had to spawn back in, you can use karma. Basically, we only have 200 karma, so that won't work for us. And then town portal, 1,000 karma. Also, what else is down here? We have manage. So if you create buildings or fences, or you create a settlement, all of those things, your manage features are there. Change kingdom, which we don't really need to worry about. So that's down in that feature. Excuse me. Getting stuffy today. Alright, character, the Gui and Screenshots. If you want to create screenshots, F11 by default. And then it saves in your Wurm online folder under your character, your specific character. So depending on how many characters you actually have in the game, each character will have its own folder within the Wurm online main folder, and you can just look in there and you'll find your screenshots. That's where it saves them by default. And then you have your quit button. Alright, the features that we already have out, which you can turn on and off by going to your HUD settings, which are under the options menu, and then the HUD settings, which are all right in here. But we have our health bar. So the way this game works is your green bar here is stamina. You have full health. As you lose stamina, the green bar will go down. As you gain wounds from fighting, there's a red bar that will come in the opposite direction and go from right to left and fill up, and once it goes all the way to the left, then you would be dead. Below the stamina bar is your water bar. So in this game you need to constantly be drinking. Just like in real life, you need to drink and eat. You cannot die from starvation or die from being out of thirst or from being dehydrated, but it vastly affects the reloading of your stamina bar, and your stamina bar is what you use to perform all your functions. So the lower your stamina, the longer each function will take. And in this game, everything takes a long time, just like it would kind of in real life. So you definitely want to keep your stamina up. So your drink bar and your food bar. And your food bar also has nutrition. My nutrition is at 0, but my food is at 91%. To get higher nutrition, you need to have higher quality foods. And we will get into that when we get into that. If you right click on your food bar, you have the options to toggle your FPS if you want to see how, you know, what your FPS is in the game, frames per second. You're able to toggle your sleep bonus, and that's this bar that I just opened up under here. Sleep bonus you get from sleeping in a bed, and you also have, I don't have any in my inventory, but when you get your character, if you go premium, each month you go premium, you'll get a sleep powder, and a sleep powder gives you 1 hour of sleep bonus. And the sleep bonus, what that does is basically doubles the rate at which you gain the particular skill that you're working on. And then you also can toggle your speed. I like to have my speed on because it tells you basically if we walk, how fast we're walking or how fast we're riding. So it goes up to about 17.3 kilometers per hour. So I like to have that on. The next window up here is your target window. And when you're fighting mobs or whatever, that mob will come up here and it will have the mob's health bar and let you know how much health they have remaining. The next bar here is your select bar. And when you perform a particular function, like let's say we were going to dig on this tunnel or on this tile, we need to first activate our shovel by double clicking on it. It turns green. And then the select bar will tell us what options we have. We can pack the dirt, we can dig the dirt, we can flatten it, or we can level it. And those are all functions. You can either click on this select bar, or you can also right click and you'll have those same options in the menu down there. So that's the select bar. This is your tool belt, and like I was explaining earlier, if you want, I would recommend you put your shovel, and that is kind of basically your main tool, and then also maybe either your hatchet if you're going to do a lot of tree cutting, or your pickaxe if you're going to do a lot of mining. To start off with, it looks like we're going to be doing a lot of tree cutting because there's a lot of trees in this area, and obviously we'll need to level out some areas, so we'll be doing some digging as well. So that's your toolbar. This can actually get bigger by improving it with leatherworking or making a new one, and it goes up by your leatherworking skill, I think. So you'd have to work on leatherworking if you want to have more slot belt. You can get up to 10 slots, I think. This is your what do you call this? I forget what it's called. Quick bar? Yeah, quick bar. So your quick bar, if you click on this, is your climbing button. When you go up anything basically higher than, I think it's somewhere around 25, 26 slopes, something like that. Maybe even 30 you can get up. It depends on your body strength as well. You need to go into climb mode. And to climb, you know, like if you were climbing up a mountain. And your climbing mode will seriously decrease your stamina, and also will not allow you to regenerate your stamina. The rest of these things, this is faithful. That has to do with religion, lawful, auto fight, stealth. Here's your backpack. You can click on that. Have no items in my backpack. If you have arrows and a bow, you'll have your quiver. And this is your map. So this is an area of all of Xanadu, as you can see here. And we are currently, let me zoom in a little bit, I'll show you where we are. We are currently on this big lake right here in, I think that's J9. In J9, that's where we are. The closest spawn town is Linton. This is where all of my friends in the Alliance live, or the bulk of them. That's the main area in Haven Heights. So that's your map. Zoom out back again. This is all of Xanadu with all the different starter towns on there. All of these other dots that are not purple houses are actually Alliance member locations. So that's the map. And then the final thing is the crafty screen. And we will get more into crafting when we start doing some crafting, but this is one of my favorite features in the game is, since this is a heavily crafting based game, is they have a nice crafting, I guess GUI, nice crafting user interface, as well as a crafting recipe book, I guess you could call it. Alright, so that's those bars, and then over here is your fight bar. You have basically aggressive fighting, defensive fighting, normal fighting, and range fighting, and then of course our compass. So that is basically everything about the user interface. Crocodile's still there waiting to eat us. So that's all you need to know about the first, I guess everything you really need to know. The options menu, we didn't really get into that, but you can get your map, get your character screen. You can go into your inventory, the map of the world. I've never actually even looked at this before. Cool. And then your console. This is the way the game used to work, and anything you wanted to do, you used to have to type in the console menu. So if you're more into programming type things, you can do it from here. But there are easier ways to do things now. You have your settings menu. I don't know if that show up in the video, but I lost it. Okay, whatever. There's your settings menu. Your HUD settings that we just covered a little bit ago. And then they also have a great wiki search bar. Wurm Online has a great wiki page, Wurmpedia. I think it's wurmpedia.com. Pretty much anything you need to know about in the game is in that system. And there's a lot of different ways to access it. And I recommend that everybody use wurmpedia.com as much as possible. Yeah, everything you need to know is in there. You can pretty much find everything in there, and like I said, use it and use it a lot. Down at the bottom of the screen are your chat bar. So you have local chat. There's a help chat in here, so you can ask your questions and people respond to that. This is Global Freedom. That's Global Freedom chat, so that's just Xanadu chat. And then this one is Freedom chat, which is all of the Freedom server, so all the different islands or whatever. And then you have trade chat, and over on the how the trade chat works. I need to change the background so you guys can see better. But you can see that after the player's name, there's a little thing in brackets. So Xan is Xanadu, REL is release server, DEL is deliverance server, IND is independence, that kind of thing. So that lets you know which server the people are on. You can do cross-server trading, so that's not a big deal, but just so you know. And then because I'm in the Alliance, I also have Alliance chat. So yeah, that's the chat bar. The bar on the other side is the basically event bar. So this tells you everything that's going on. So I entered into Calaway Basin when I walked over there, and then I left it again. It tells you the time that you've done everything, and this is your actual time, not server time. So it's your actual time. You also have friends bar that'll come up, so if you make any friends in the game, you can tell when they're online there. And then also combat pops up here, so once you get into combat, there'll be a tab for that. Alright, so that's been about 30 minutes, or it's pretty close to 30 minutes. So I want to go ahead and stop there. The user interface is totally a boring first video, but it's one of the things you kind of need to know what's going on. So in episode 2, we'll get on to what we really need to do first and go from there. So I appreciate you guys watching. This has been Zephyr Storm. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, ideas, especially questions. If you have any question about what's going on in your game or something you don't understand, please let me know in the description below the video. Not the description, but the chat. I don't know what I'm talking about. The chat section below the video, and I will answer that either in the next video or as soon as I can get to it. I will also answer it in the chat section below the video. I reply to all the comments that people make in the video, so whether good or bad. Also, if you happen to be watching this and you are an experienced player and you see something I do wrong, which will inevitably happen, if I give out any bad information, please let me know that, and I will correct it in the next video and put it in the description below the current video if there's something that needs to be corrected. Alright, so until next time, guys, I will see you on the other side.